Thank you again today. Today I'm going to be talking about something different. This is something a lot of you have been asking. How do I price my product for export? You have that amazing product, you have a good manufacturing facility, people are buying it locally, but how do you price it for another country, for another market? That is what we're going to be talking about today. Now, pricing is so important. You know why? Because of two things. One, you could either be losing money because you are selling your product too low, or you could be losing customers because you have priced too high. So again, in pricing for export, you need to make sure that you have your prices right, that it will attract the maximum number of customers. Now, there is something that I always talk about when it comes to export, and that is what we have developed here at Export and Sell, and it's called product profitability analysis. Look, you must be able to determine how profitable your product is before you go into export. If you don't do that, you're going to have a problem. You will run into losses. Let's look at profitability analysis. So how do I determine if my product is going to be profitable? Number one, you need to first of all understand your manufacturing cost. So how much did it cost you to make that product? And when we're talking about that, we're talking about labor, we're talking about cost of materials, direct and indirect costs. You need to look at what are your fixed costs. All those things need to be broken down into your manufacturing costs. Now, after the cost, you obviously have your shipping and clearing, because again, these are international transactions. You are shipping these products abroad. So you need to understand what is your shipping and clearing cost. Next, you have what I call warehousing, because a lot of times, some of you are going to need to warehouse your product. You have warehousing, shipping to customer. You're going to need to ship those products to the customer. What is that cost? And then you must, again, factor in your profit. Okay? So by the time you add up all these costs, it should give you that, let me say, this is minimum profit, that base selling price. You need to factor all these things before you get your base selling price. You need to look at how much it costs you to manufacture. You're going to need to know your shipping and clearing costs. And when it comes to shipping and clearing, you have to be able to determine the shipping and clearing cost per item. So if you deliver, say, 100 kg to the shipping company, and this is going to cost maybe $100 to ship, and in this 100 kg, you have 500 items, right? So what does it mean? It means that each of these is what? 100 over 500, that's about 20 cents, right? That means that shipping each of those items is 20 cents, and that's where you plug it in here. You may need to know your clearing costs if you have to pay duties here. Again, if you're shipping to the USA, you have the duty-free thing. For you to be profitable with export, you need to have a local warehousing in the USA. And that's one of the things Export and Sell provides. You can check the link for more details of that. And then what is the minimum profit? And that will give you your base price. It doesn't just stop here. And I'm going to show you what I really want to talk about today, because this is something I think everybody should understand. How do you really determine how much you need to sell to the final customer? So let's assume you have already determined your base minimum price. From what I just put here, you already know what that your base price is. How much should you now sell? Again, remember what I said from the beginning. We need to determine the right price so that we are not losing money by selling too small, or we didn't put the price so high that we are losing a lot of customers, right? Determining how much you need to sell actually depends on one thing. Who are you selling to? Again, all we're trying to do here is to maximize how much you make in return. What are the areas that you could sell? One, you could sell to Amazon. A lot of you are selling to Amazon. You could be selling to what? African stores. You could be selling to retail stores. So these are other stores in the USA. And I always like to differentiate it because we're Africans. You know why I like to differentiate it? Simple. When you want to sell products to the owners of African stores, most of them know the pricing that those products are selling locally. So they know how much they can buy it. So if you go trying to sell to them and you are using the prices of Amazon or other retail stores, you will not be successful in a lot of cases. And that success is because a lot of them have brothers and family, friends and co that they can tell to buy those products for them locally. So you need to get it right. Now, what other places could you sell? You could sell direct to the customer. So in this case, either you are shipping it directly to the customer or the customer is paying for the shipping. And then you have retail online stores. And this is becoming very popular. A lot of companies, Walmart and the rest, they are all trying to compete with Amazon. So they are all developing their own online platform. And it's relatively easy to sign up for a lot of these things. Now, the last one you could have is a customer pickup. So for example, you have the warehouse in Houston. We have a lot of our customers who do this. They already have a warehouse in Houston. And what happens? They tell their customers to go to the warehouse to pick up the item. So these are various areas where you may be selling. Now the question is, how much should I price my product if I'm selling on Amazon? How much should I price it if I'm selling to African stores? Remember, when you sell to African stores, you need to sell to them at a wholesale value. Why? Because they also have to retail and make money. How much should I sell to other retail stores that are not African? How much should I sell if I'm selling direct to the consumer, retail online, or any of this? Now, to go deeper into this, what I'm going to do is I am going to look at 3 scenarios only, because again, doing this analysis is not something that I can do right here with you. So let's look at 3 cases, right? The first one is if I'm selling on Amazon. The second one is if I'm selling to African stores. And the last one I would like to look at is if I'm selling direct to consumer. How much should I price my product? Now, to make it simple, I have a product here. This is what? This is organic hibiscus tea. How much should I price this product? Now, I have done all my manufacturing. Remember what we talked about earlier. So let me remind you here. Remember earlier, we talked about your base minimum price, right? What is your base minimum price? After you have calculated your manufacturing cost, you've determined your shipping cost, you've determined your warehousing, and maybe the shipping to wherever you're warehousing it. That's the base minimum price. So let's say your base minimum price for this product is what? $4. If you sell it anything less than $4, by the time you consider your shipping cost, your manufacturing cost, you are going to be at a loss. This is where we are going to start working from. Anything that we sell, any price that we determine here must be greater than the base minimum cost so that we don't go into loss, right? So what is the first thing you do? Now, selling on Amazon, again, you need to understand how each of these platforms works, right? So probably I'm going to start with the African store. Now, remember, this is your base price to have this product landed in the US, and you're going to sell it to an African store. So if I'm selling to an African store, the key things to consider are: 1, how much is this product selling locally? If I am the owner of this African store and I tell my family and friends to go buy this product and ship it to them, what will it cost them? Because that is the key thing. That is what they are going to consider before they decide whether to do business with you. Let's assume this is your base minimum price. I will advise a lot of times you sell in African stores the base minimum price plus what I will call a reasonable markup. What is that reasonable markup? Is what I will say is enough markup to make the owner of the African store to not want to go and do it locally, so that they don't go through all the stress. So for a product like this, you can decide and say, okay, I just want to make $1 on top of my base minimum price. So here you could say, I'm going to sell $4 plus extra $1, which is $5. Remember, again, this is assuming that you don't need to deliver the product to the African store. Again, you've shipped the product, you have it in your local warehouse, of which we can give you a warehouse if you need in the USA. This is your base minimum price. You want to make an extra $1. And so you know that when you deliver this product to the African store for $5, if they were to go maybe looking for somebody who can do it, They will probably be able to ship it and deliver it to the USA for maybe $5.50 or $6. At that point in time, it doesn't make sense. Why does this work? It's simple. Remember, if they have to go buy this product locally, maybe in Ghana, in Nigeria, wherever you are manufacturing it, say, for $3. You will probably sell it in the local market, maybe $5.50 or $6 thereabout. Remember, this is your base manufacturing cost. So you have to make profit. So you may sell it $5.50. At this point, you have also determined what your minimum profit is for you to sell it. But you now add some extra to sell it in the local stores. So if they were to go to buy it in the open market, they may be forced to buy it maybe at $5 or thereabout. But because you manufactured it for $3, you shipped it for, by the time you do all the calculations, shipping, warehousing, everything came to $4, right? Your base minimum price in the USA, and then you decide to add $1. If these African store owners went back to do it themselves, they will probably get it $5.50. So what does that mean? You are cheaper than them. That way, they will buy from you. Get that in mind. The problem I have seen so many people make when they are trying to sell their product to African stores is overpricing. They look at the price they sell the product on Amazon, and then they think, oh, that is what they ought to sell it to the African stores. It will not work that way. Now, let's take a look at Amazon. Now, remember, we're selling this at this price. What if I were to sell it to who? On Amazon. How much should I price that product? Now, Amazon, remember, for those of you who don't know how Amazon works, I believe I have other trainings on it, and I'll put a link below. When you sell a product on Amazon, there are a couple of costs involved, right? One is what they call the seller fee. Let's assume seller fee ranges from 8% to 15% depending on the product you're selling. So let's assume you are selling food products and it's going to be more than $14. The seller fee is going to be about 15%, right? So let's assume, for a rough analysis, your seller fee selling this on Amazon is 15%. Let's assume it's $2 that is going to be your seller fee, right? Now, apart from seller fee, Amazon has what they call fulfillment fee. That is the cost to deliver that product to the buyer. And you are responsible for it if you're selling on Amazon. A lot of people don't know it. So imagine the fulfillment fee for this is about $5. And that's around the range it's going to give you. So the fulfillment fee, let's say $5 or maybe $4, something like that, right? What do you see? So again, the fulfillment fee includes the storage on Amazon, the cost to ship it to the final consumer, as well as the packaging cost and all those things. So that's $6. So again, you can see already, while you are selling that product $5 to the African store, if you sell it $5 here, you are going to be making a loss. Remember, this is your base minimum price. So what you have to do now, for you to be able to sell this product on Amazon, you have to add the base minimum price. So base minimum is now equal to what? $4. That means for you to sell this product profitably on Amazon at a base, you have to sell it for what? $10. So while you're selling it to the African store for $5, you can't sell it on Amazon for less than 10. If you decide and say, you know what, let me make an extra profit of say $1, that means the total you can sell this product on Amazon is $11. And this is where a lot of people get it wrong. They go and they see that the price that they are selling a particular product on Amazon is $11. And then when they have African stores who are trying to buy from them, they begin to negotiate at that price. Remember, there are other costs involved in selling on Amazon. So you cannot use the same thing. Now, the last one is the direct to consumer. How much should I sell it direct to consumer? So for example, if I'm listing the product on my website or something that I own, or I have the product in the warehouse, right? And somebody says, hey, ship this product to me. How much should you sell it? So there are two ways to do that. One, you can consider customer, so pays for shipping. So if the customer is going to pay for the shipping, you can decide and say, you know what, let me sell it for my base minimum, make $2 profit. So you can say 4 plus the $2 profit, and you decide to sell it to them for what? $6. Why? Because the customer is going to what? Pay for the shipping cost. So at the end of the day, the customer may end up paying maybe $5 or $6 to ship it, right? If they are paying you the same thing, then you're still making your profit. Now, the other option is if you are giving free shipping. Again, you have a lot of instances where they talk about how different people price product. If I price the product and I sell it for $8 and the customer pays $4 for shipping, the total cost is $12. You can decide to price that same product for $12 and say, let me do free shipping. And in a lot of instances, you will see that a lot of people will buy that product for $12, even though it's to you, it's exactly the same thing. So when you are now pricing direct to the customer, how much should you sell? Free shipping, your base minimum price is $4. You decide to add $2 shipping, and then the customer pays for shipping. So that doesn't really bother you, even though you may collect that shipping cost. Now, for free shipping, you have to add your base minimum. So my base minimum is $4. And I now decide, you know what, I'm going to make $2 extra, okay? Because, yeah, I want to make more money, right? And you know the shipping cost is what? Say $5 in this case. So 4 plus 2, 6. So that means the minimum you are going to sell that product is going to be $11 if you are offering them free shipping. So you can see it is exactly the same product, but the price that you are selling it on various platforms differs. Why? Because you have different characteristics of pricing expenses in each of these places. So again, you need to understand this. You need to know, be watchful. Where you sell determines how much you sell. It's not just about, oh, you have one price for your product. No, you need to understand what happens on Amazon. In this case, you have the seller fee, you have the fulfillment fee, and then you add it to your base minimum. Anybody going into export must have a base minimum price. That base minimum already factors in your manufacturing, your shipping to the USA, and the profit you want to make. And it is from that base minimum that you now begin to add whatever profit you want, depending on what you are selling. If you follow this principle, you will get it right. Make sure you don't lose. That's the key thing that we're trying to do here. Make sure that as you are selling, you are not losing in any way. I am available to help African businesses blow up their export sales. If you have any questions, look, reach out to our team. Our details is going to be shown on the screen. Reach out to us. You're trying to start an export business. You don't know the documentation. You don't know the licensing. You don't know any of these things. Reach out to us. And again, we always have events, either online or physical. Right? I'm recording this video in December. In March, the first week of March, we're having a massive event in Lagos, Nigeria. So again, if you are in the export or you are thinking of going into export, you need to be at that event. And again, the link is down below. Register to be there. We need to take over the sales, the marketing and the distribution of African products in Europe, in the USA, and everywhere. Because again, we make these products. My vision is simple: to see the African businesses, to see the African entrepreneurs taking hold of the products that God has blessed them with. We need to stop letting all the Chinese companies and foreign companies come here, give us $1, and then they go back there and sell the product for 10. We need to control that profit. If you have any questions, reach out to us. We are there to support you. Again, we have an event coming up first week in March. Sign up for that event. It is free to attend. We want to help many businesses. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you another time.